I almost missed the invitation. The cream-colored envelope had been sitting on my kitchen counter for days, tucked beneath a stack of unopened bills. My son and his wife were hosting a family dinner to celebrate the purchase of their new home. I hesitated before accepting. Lately, every gathering seemed to leave me carrying home something invisible, a quiet sadness, a reminder that I no longer belonged in the center of his life. Still, I went. I brought a homemade peach pie because it had always been his favorite. He barely noticed when I handed it to him. The house was beautiful, full of polished wood floors and carefully chosen furniture. Everyone complimented the decorations. I complimented them too. It cost nothing to be kind. His mother-in-law greeted me with a smile that never reached her eyes. Throughout dinner, little comments floated across the table like paper cuts. Some people don't know when to step back. The younger generation deserves room to build their own lives. They don't need constant reminders about the past. Nobody said my name, but everyone knew who the words were meant for. I concentrated on my meal. Years ago, I had worked 2 jobs after my husband died. I sold jewelry, postponed medical treatments, and skipped vacations so my son could finish college without debt. I never expected repayment. I only hoped those sacrifices would become quiet memories shared between us. Instead, they had become uncomfortable history. Dessert never came. His mother-in-law suddenly lifted her bowl of soup. For a heartbeat, I thought she was asking someone to pass it. Instead, the hot liquid struck my face. The pain was immediate. My skin burned as broth slid down my neck and soaked my blouse. Someone gasped. She looked directly at me. "That's what you deserve." I reached for a napkin with shaking hands. No one moved. Then my son spoke. "She's right, Mom," not loudly, not angrily, simply as though stating an obvious fact. The room became strangely quiet. I wiped my face without looking at anyone. My hands trembled, but my voice never appeared. There was nothing I could have said that would matter. I stood, collected my purse, and walked toward the front door. Nobody stopped me. Outside, the evening air cooled the burn on my skin. I sat inside my car for several minutes before taking out my phone. The call lasted less than a minute. "I've decided to stop postponing tomorrow's compliance action," I said. "You'll find everyone connected to the company together at the address I'd just sent." That was all. For nearly 6 months, my office had been reviewing financial reporting concerns involving a regional contracting business, partly owned by my son's in-laws. I wasn't leading the investigation alone, but because of the family connection, I had insisted on distancing myself from every decision. The final authorization had been waiting for procedural clearance. After what had happened inside that house, remaining personally involved with the family was no longer possible. I formally removed myself from the conflict and notified the agency that the individuals were all present for document preservation. Nothing more, nothing less. I stayed parked across the street. About 20 minutes later, 2 government vehicles arrived. Several officials stepped out wearing identification badges. They knocked. The front door opened. Even from a distance, I could see confusion replacing confidence. The officials entered with legal documentation authorizing the collection of business records and electronic files connected to the ongoing inquiry. No raised voices, no dramatic accusations, just calm professionalism. Neighbors noticed. Curtains moved. Inside the house, the dinner had ended without anyone touching dessert. I watched my son standing near the doorway, looking from the officials to the street. Eventually, his eyes found my car. For the first time that evening, he looked uncertain. He had always known where I worked. He had simply never imagined that I would keep professional responsibilities completely separate from family emotions until circumstances forced that separation to become visible. I drove away before anyone came outside. The burn on my face healed within weeks. The deeper wound took longer. Several months later, my son asked if we could meet. He looked older. Not because time had passed, but because certainty had left him. "I didn't understand," he admitted quietly. "No," I answered, "you didn't." He apologized for remaining silent. He apologized for choosing comfort over courage. He apologized for believing humiliation could somehow solve years of unspoken frustration. I accepted his apology. Forgiveness, however, arrived more slowly. Trust isn't rebuilt because someone regrets a single evening. It's rebuilt through ordinary days, difficult conversations, and consistent choices. I never spoke about the investigation. It wasn't mine to discuss, and the legal process followed its own course without my involvement. Some family gatherings never happened again. Others became smaller, quieter, and strangely more honest. People discovered that respect isn't created by fear or authority. It's revealed when someone with every opportunity to retaliate chooses restraint instead. I still have a faint scar near my jawline that only appears under certain light. It reminds me of that dinner. Not because of the pain, because it was the night I finally understood that dignity doesn't come from being defended by family. Sometimes it begins the moment you quietly stand up, wipe your face, and walk away without surrendering who you are.